You're listening to the Fire in the Hole podcast with Richard and Jason, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
If you like the show, you can help us out by supporting us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by rating and reviewing us on iTunes.
If you want to be a guest on the show, or you want to get in touch, drop us a line at fireintheholepodcast@gmail.com. That's fireintheholepodcast@gmail.com.
Enjoy the show.
This week on the show, our good buddy and returning guest Adam Clark invited us to come see his band AA Meeting in their jam space. AA Meeting consists of Alex Nellis on vocals, Adam Clark on guitar, Mathieu Laberge on bass, and Carney Woods on drums. They've got a couple of shows coming up raising funds for the Gord Downey and Cheney Wenjack Fund. It's a charity in solidarity with the Indigenous peoples of Canada. Those dates are Friday, February 2nd at McKibben's Irish Pub in Vaudreuil-Dorion, Tuesday, February 6th at L'Escalier on St. Catherine in Montreal. It's a great cause, and these are a bunch of great guys, so we hope you'll come out and support. Without further ado, here is AA Meeting on Fire in the Hole.
This is a top to what we use on stage, but it's very, very special because if you can see, the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the board. 11, 11,
and most of
11,
the
and
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most blokes, be playing at 10. You're on 10 here, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. You're on 10 on your guitar. Where can you go from there? Where?
I don't know.
Nowhere, exactly. What we do is if we need that extra push over the cliff, you know what we do?
Put it up to 11.
11, exactly. One louder.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
The official name of this band is AA Meeting.
AA Meeting?
Yes.
Okay, I did not know that. So, good news, guys. Did not forget.
Yeah, that's
Never knew.
Never knew it.
never knew.
Never knew.
It's like some people who forget to bring stuff for people, but it's not really for them, but they tell you forgot it anyway.
It's a bit
that
like
kinda,
that.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
Yeah.
All right.
Where are we? How did we get here?
Are we getting out of here? Do we know?
I don't know.
All right.
No.
AA Meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that happen?
Alex, how about you tell them the story of where that name came from?
Yeah, so I met Adam about 12 years ago.
That's me, by the way.
Yeah, Adam Clark.
Yeah.
And
Welcome back,
my name
Adam.
is Alex. So in the most irrelevant way possible of trying to name what we were going to try to do, which was he play guitar and I say my songs poetry. We'd go to open mics and stuff, and so we figured we need a name, not just Adam and Alex. And so we called it AA Meeting because of our initials, basically.
We had a meeting.
Yeah,
to
we had
talk
a meeting
about
to
it,
talk about
and
it.
we were AA, and
so
So you're not alcoholics.
wow.
Well,
we'll see.
it's really the Alex and Adam meeting, I guess. But
They brought a lot of beer. Insane.
Well, it's not going to help, but that's fine.
Do you get people showing up to your band practice thinking... They're like, they told me it was here.
We've actually put on our Facebook page, Metzer wrote, Metzer, our bass player, actually wrote a part to say we have nothing to do with the actual AA meeting. And we play in bars and stuff, it's extremely contradictory, right? So,
there's some triggering happening. Some people
we're playing McGibbons. In fact, we're going to talk about that later, I'm sure, but we're playing McGibbons, and they have this poster of,
Are there people crying at your shows?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's a weird name, but we actually kind of like our name, because it's
really
weird.
what counts.
And I don't want to go to this too early, but alphabetically, it makes us the #1 band in the world because we all have our songs in our iTunes and stuff, and we're the first band. So so
it's like triple A.
So we're #1 at everything.
Add another A.
Yeah, exactly. I had that happen to me organically on account of my last name being A. Ambrose, so AM. So I was always the first one called or whatever, and then whatever. And that automatically somehow gets you sort of blacklisted by everyone. They're like, it's my name. I didn't choose this.
Didn't do it on purpose.
They're like, oh,
Yeah.
you think you're better than the rest of us? Like, it's my name, dude. It's just letters. I can't. But from a
think you're
marketing
better than the
perspective, I have
rest
to
of us.
say, okay. So let's do a little round table here. We have Alex on
Yeah, so I'm the singer of the band,
Okay.
the lead vocals of the band.
and the lyricist.
Pardon me?
You write the lyrics?
Yeah, I write. I've written every single one of our songs except for one.
So you're an auteur.
I guess the way that I say it to people is that this is my only one band I'm ever going to be in. I play with.
That's cute.
I play with. Yeah, no. It's these are guys that I've met through different parts of my life, and I'm like super proud of the guys I play with,
Mhm.
and these guys are like super duper musicians. Like this is what they do, whereas I'm just a guy who writes poetry and stuff and wanted it to come out. And these guys were always super open because we met Metzer right away after. Well, I knew Metzer since I was in high school, and he agreed to join us right away too. And so
That's
yeah,
cool.
that's my little thing.
This is an audio podcast. No one saw the passion in his eyes when he described his fellow musicians.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
really care about this band. This is cool.
Absolutely.
Okay. And who is this gentleman to your right? I guess it would be.
That'd be the audience's left, right?
I. Oh God, you come. God. All right.
Yeah, we go by seniority.
No. No.
We're not going to listen to what he's
I
going
was talking to this gentleman right here.
okay.
I want to know who he is. Yeah.
We gotta listen to Jason.
All right.
Jason
follow the
Richard, take
rules.
care of all this.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
today we'll
correct.
follow the rules.
Yes.
My name's Carney Woods.
All right.
I've been a buddy of Alex's for a while. We work together. I've personally been playing music for a long time in a variety of different bands, probably 20 years or so.
Really?
Yeah, in and out of nothing major, just different things here and there.
How many metal bands?
Punk bands.
Punk bands.
Punk
Okay.
bands.
I was going to say metal or punk. One of
Yeah,
those two.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3. You know,
Yeah,
the
I mean,
90s
this-
was a really
this is
Montreal
Quebec.
punk scene. Yeah,
Quebec,
exactly.
man.
Yeah, I had to capitalize on that.
For real.
A couple Green Day cover bands too.
Uh-huh,
You know,
uh-huh,
just to
uh-huh.
be.
You can
Just
tell
to
by
be
all
original.
his
311.
chains and all his fishnet that he's wearing in leather
Mid-level
right now that
ska
he's a punk
band
guy.
somewhere. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
The mascara gave away that he's a real punk guy. Eh?
It's
Uh-huh.
true. Yeah, it's the long hair. It's the long-
I can tell. Okay, cool. So drums.
Yeah, so I'm the drummer in this group, and I've known Alex for a long time. I was really lucky to meet these guys at a party a little while back.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Actually, at a hip party, you know,
Uh-huh.
watching the viewing party for the Hips concerts last year. I met up with these guys, and at the time I had a different project going. We were talking just in general, and you know, later on it spawned the conversation with me and Alex at work and outside of work, having beers and talking. And I just came in and started jamming with these guys, and you know, it just grew from there.
The rest
and
just came
yeah.
along.
yeah, it was
Is
very
that-
organic.
Is that setup that you have with, just so everyone knows, actually, we're in their practice space, so this is kind of rad. We're really in the middle of it, right? That setup, is that your classic setup? Is that mostly how you go on when you play live?
Yeah, on stage. I mean, this is
Okay.
you know, we share the space, so we kind of all share the equipment that's here with another couple bands. But
'Cause
generally speaking, yeah,
That's a sweet setup. I know a little bit about drum setups, not so much playing. And this is definitely somebody who loves to play drums. Less is more setup.
yeah,
right?
yeah, very simple. I mean,
Whenever I see, like, how can I put this? It's like minimalist setup.
That's
and
it.
so you really probably work all of those pieces, as opposed to have like up to the ceiling, 80s style.
yeah, well, back home at the drum lab might be a little different.
Right.
Story.
Well, there you're playing, right?
That's right. Yeah,
But-
my Neil Peart on over there.
Because of Neil Peart, because of Tool, everybody was like, I need 22 bass drum triggers.
absolutely.
I need something on my ears, like every part of my body. Just tie me, make me into a drum puppet, basically. 17 gongs, you name it, firecrackers. So yeah, no, that
yeah, just
seems
the
like,
simple stuff.
Firecrackers, I like that.
the first time I saw someone work a jazz kit, like in the 90s, I was like, oh, and it was for a metal band too. I was like, really? That can be done? I think Alice in Chains maybe showed the way, where
Yeah.
they're like, you don't need to, you can actually see the drummer, and it can still be heavy, you know? So
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
it's,
is Neil Peart your influence?
no, generally my influences, my biggest influence would probably be Mitch Mitchell, the
Okay.
drummer for Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
He was one of the first fusion drummers. Ginger Baker was another one.
Ginger Baker.
Oh,
came in
What a
cream.
maniac.
Yeah, he was great. And
Is he still alive? I think I
Yeah,
saw a
he-
documentary on him.
He's still alive.
He's
I
in
saw
Africa or
him. I
some
saw
shit?
him play about 2 years ago at Place des Arts, actually.
Oh shit.
And sorry not to cut you off, but when you mentioned Ginger,
we
that's
talk
the
about
first
drummers.
thing.
I'm all good.
Yeah, and he was playing a jazz show,
Uh-huh.
and he came in with this, I think it was this, maybe his bodyguard who was massive, who had to literally help him to the drum kit because he's on his deathbed, I guess. A big back brace and everything. And I literally thought he wasn't going to make it through the show until like he literally started drumming and he just totally woke up. And it was one of the coolest things. He's so good.
I feel like that era produced these musicians that were like are physically finished, but if you can just roll them onto stage. Like Ozzy's like this. Ozzy's like doesn't know where he is. Right?
No,
He's got coloring books. He's drooling, and I've seen him live. Like they get him to the stage. They just kind of like with like a dolly. They just kind of push him onto the stage, and then suddenly he realizes there's where he is. It's like all right, and he starts doing jumping jacks, and you're like, how is this possible?
Yeah, it was very similar to Ginger Baker, except for behind the drum kit. And he was literally, and he
like
even
he's half dead, but he's
and when he went, and he even said, he even joked, which he doesn't do often,
Right.
you know, and he even joked and said, I really hope I make it through the end of this show.
and he meant it.
Maybe he
And
wasn't
he was
joking.
real.
He fucking meant it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
He's
It was
a
amazing.
mess. He's been a mess for 35 years. You know, that's what's great about these 70s dudes. It's like I don't understand. Like they should be dead 20 times over, and they just keep going. Their cigarettes, they smoke cigarettes. You know, like that's how finished they are. All right, cool. All right, so who's this gentleman to your right then? Let's keep this going. Let's get the introduction.
Well, I'm Matt, and I play bass, and I'm the one who tells people to go check their phone. Basically,
Okay.
You can see that on our YouTube clip, actually.
A lesser-known
Right?
role for bassists is telling people to check their phones.
yeah.
As in turning them off? Is that for what? For
Well,
what
no,
reason?
you can tell the story. You like telling that story.
I just want to say before you start your story, this does feel like an AA meeting. This, like, you guys chose well. This does feel like we're sharing sorrow and hurt and pain. Go on. So what's the story?
Does anybody else want to tell the story? Ellis?
It's on you, man.
All right.
Good,
we had our,
I'll talk enough
I guess
later.
it was our first live show, right? Yeah. Or our first live show in 8 years.
Adam Clark speaking. Yes.
Adam Clark speaking.
On guitars.
On guitars.
Guitar, yes.
One at a time.
And on storytelling.
One at a time, though. I don't play two guitars at once. So we were having a good AA meeting show. And in a typical AA meeting show, we had too much to drink, I guess. And after a song, we call him the Cowboy, our bass player. You'll see why if ever you see us play live. And he just, Alec, our singer, was telling a story about God knows what. And LeBerge just ran out on the microphone and managed to say something like,
Go check your phone.
yeah, that's it.
You don't believe us.
Yeah.
Because we're doing like a live stream on Facebook, like somebody there with the phone and everything, and they're telling that last time we did a show for the AA meeting, there was no like Facebook or like not that much, you know. So and then I was kind of like, yeah, go check your phone if you don't believe us. You know,
Okay.
type stuff. Yeah. So
The
Matt,
things about these two guys, though, you have to know is they're the gentlest souls when you talk to them, and you guys know them. So you see, get them on stage. They're like you said with Ozzy.
They're
turn into these
animals.
Yeah, we are.
Animals.
completely different.
we are known as the dynamic duo.
Okay.
Dynamic.
When he said
Yeah,
cowboy, I'm like, does he hurt Indians when he's on stage? Is that
Well,
what-
No, we could talk. I think Matt, you're-
Well, because I'm a singer-songwriter as well, and back in the day,
Edit that one out.
No, it's staying, buddy.
right? And back in the
I
day,
said it.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Fire in
fire
the
in the
hole.
Good name.
So back in the day, I was like in this big like folk and country blues like phase, and I was wearing the hat, the boots, and I was like going out there in the real world.
I can see it. I can see
dressed
you on
up,
an album
yeah.
cover. Yeah.
Yes, and so when I started playing with those guys, I was full on cowboy. So I was like had the hat and everything. So I guess the name stuck because the cowboy. So.
I think it's important to we mentioned that we didn't play for 8 years. We didn't almost barely saw each other for 8 years. I had moved away. I was living in Ottawa for a bit, and I hadn't seen Metro the entire time that we were gone. So when we came back last year, it was actually our first time playing with technology where it actually is now. So that's why that joke came out. And so Metzger's not giving himself much credit here, but he
As bases do.
well, yeah, Metzer. I'll say one thing is that A meeting has become obviously Adam and I just started, but it was Metzer's addition that made it that whatever you call a success for us. This is a success. It's a
Thanks.
success because we have fun and we make people happy and stuff. and Metzger's been a big part of it.
Don't
So-
fall for it, man. They're gonna
No, I know.
phase you out in the mix.
That's it.
Like Metallica.
Well, you know,
Metallica.
until
did it.
until like
never
recently,
forgave you.
I was the one mixing, so I
good
put the
man.
bass up in the mix.
Right
but
on.
yeah,
Just drown them all out.
for 2 songs, yeah. Oh well, no, 4.
So how long you been playing the bass?
I started playing the bass around like when I was like 15.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I played keyboard before, and then yeah, that's it. Yeah, I look really young. Yeah, and so the bass appealed to me because when guitar is harder. You have to do chords. So and I was like and I was playing because I'm left-handed. You cannot see that on your podcast.
Yes.
I'm left-handed, so I had a guitar at home, so it was like stringed for a right-handed person. So I would play, but I couldn't do the chords because it was backwards. So I would just do the notes. So of course, the logical thing to do was to buy a bass. So I bought a bass. I learned like some Weezer, some Nirvana.
Really? I would have just given up. So that's really good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. And first, my first word I said as a bébé, was guitar. So that's the guitar I started on. That was backward. That's I started on. So that's my story here in a
great
nutshell.
The baby.
When I was a baby. Yeah. So and I play bass, play guitar, play drums. I play
Plugging a
everything.
song.
So you don't need these guys, is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because actually, Alex sends me
You're like
those.
Superman in the Justice
yeah,
League.
that's it.
You're like, no, you don't.
But
really
I don't have
need
any
the rest of the group."
kryptonite though. I don't. Yeah.
I don't have
I mean, I
Yeah.
really like you guys, but really, I don't need you guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, if you can play all those instruments and you're still hanging with these dudes, that means something. Because usually, multi-instrument people end up getting annoyed and just recording everything by themselves because they're like, I just don't have to explain this to anyone. I can just
That's it.
do the drums, do the bass.
That's
do
where the 8-year break came from, though. You see, after 2 months, he's like,
Fuck
see
it.
you guys in a decade.
He had this one album he really wanted to do. Okay. In terms of influences, wait, I don't feel right unless I introduce the 2 ladies in the back who are nice enough to join us. Would you like to come and say hi, ladies?
Come on over here, ladies.
Just so we can
And
prove
there's
to
Adam.
everyone
And there's
that they're in the room.
They know me.
There, you can grab that mic.
interviewed me.
Introduce yourselves.
I'm Sierra,
Hi, Sierra.
the daughter of Kearney, the drummer.
Dart. There was a very
Hi,
Game of
Sierra.
Thrones kind of like daughter of. Great.
Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. And who is the lovely lady next to you?
My sister, my younger sister.
And what's her name?
Cadence.
Cadence.
No,
Say hello, Cadence.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, Cadence. How's
Cadence.
it going?
Good, you.
All right. Really nice to meet you. Thank you for taking pictures.
You're welcome.
You are taking pictures, right?
Yeah.
Okay, take more pictures. Anyway, we'll take the best and we'll post them on the release of the We'll fully credit you guys and make sure you get all the royalties.
Yes. All proceeds go to AA meeting. The band.
We'll make sure you get all the
not
royalties.
the group.
And not these guys won't steal your money. Okay, well, thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys have fun. This is going to be an exceptionally clean Fire in a Hole podcast for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
We've just decided we're tired of swearing. Isn't that right, Richard?
that's right.
No more swearing.
Yeah.
Hate swearing.
2018 resolution.
That's right.
Why swear when there's
Yeah.
perfectly good words like kerfuffle?
Mm.
What's the other one? Pigeon.
Yeah.
Pigeon's a great word.
Well,
Zut alors.
I say chocolat in French.
There you go.
Chocolat.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It sounds like a swear.
Yeah. It is the same color. And it's the same color.
anymore.
How about son of a Becherel?
That's
Oh, there
true.
you go.
Son of a Yahoo.
Them out, though.
I like sac en plastique.
Apparently they have like.
Kind of
still
sounds
3
like
months.
Oh, Larousse Illustré.
It sounds like a Pink Panther, like a Inspector Clouseau kind of thing. Sac en plastique. I love it. I love to pretend to not speak a language. Isn't that great? There's a girl on my job that whenever she gets mad, she fake immigrant accent talks. Like she make up this immigrant accent, and it's really offensive. But I love it. I love to hear her do it. All right. So you guys all go way back, right? Who's the last person to join this band?
That would be me.
There would you. Okay. All right. So in terms of musical influences, are there parallels? Are there all you guys are like, oh yeah, man, Zeppelin or whatever, or is it just all a mixed
Man,
bag?
it's like influences like I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Uh-huh.
Weezer. I have like the Holy Three of Trinities. It's the Trinities of the R's. So like my 3 favorite bands are Rush, Radiohead, and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, it's
so
the
I stay in R.
Triforce.
That's it,
That's
the
what that
Triforce.
is.
So
Okay.
that's me in a nutshell. But I love everything.
It's the same bands that pirates like.
It is.
Arr.
I was like, you probably, if the triangle could have 4 sides.
Yeah, I'm editing. I'm taking the
What
time
would be the
code
fourth
of
one?
editing that out.
If the triangles would have 4 sides, it would be a square. But
Shows all
also,
about that.
I feel like Primus. You probably like Primus.
I do, but nah, because I'm a bass player, right? No.
Yeah, I mean, just I just
Yeah.
get the feeling like
were called Rimus.
Primus.
Yeah, no. I had a little phase,
Adam
yeah.
Clark,
no.
everybody.
Winona's
You weren't
Big
on the
Brown
microphone,
Beaver. I
so-
love that song, but I'm not like a big fan
Okay,
of
no,
Primus.
I just thought you'd like Primus because
gonna
I guess maybe a bit of
turn
because
Yeah.
of the Les Claypool thing. But
Yeah, I admire him, but he's not like
But they were also a huge influence on the bands
Yeah.
that you mentioned.
like Flea.
Rush
Well, as a
also.
bass player, Flea, and then Scott DeLeo from the Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, yeah.
They're up there for me. I love the Flea has like a exuberance, and
Flea is Flea.
it's Flea, and you don't have to talk about him.
Exactly.
But Scott DeLeo from the Stone Temple Pilots has a certain something that I always like. I kind of like play the bass like he does, like a bit like slanted or something,
Uh-huh.
and I like it.
Yeah, there's an influence. I feel like it always starts with that. You see someone play an instrument. I mean, if you're going to pick one up,
That's
you-
it.
and you'll be a little bit influenced by that, even though you move past the
Yeah.
initial infatuation.
And furry pants.
And furry pants
Yeah, that's it.
made from plushies.
That's it.
What was it?
Which is very uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
That doesn't seem
Warm.
like
For
it's,
the
animal.
but that's why he's
Yeah.
naked the rest of the time.
That's it, yeah.
So the rash can heal.
Yeah.
Remember in the 90s, there was this thing with guitars where everyone had to sling them really low?
Yeah.
And you just kind of had to do this up-down motion? Okay, that was a thing. Okay, I didn't imagine that. Good. Excellent. All right. Similar influences?
I
you
think
guys?
that was because of actually the Les Paul guitar.
Is that what it was?
It was so freaking heavy.
Heavy and uncomfortable.
Because I usually play a Strat, and I recently got a Les Paul through a buddy of mine. He actually gave it to me, which was kind of cool. Shout out to Lance Starnes, who
Shout
gave that out to me. And I noticed I had a hell of a time playing it until I lowered it like all those guys you were talking about did. And it was like, oh, this is much more comfortable there. But it's the only guitar that's comfortable there. So
You're saying that shoegazing wasn't actually, it's just heavy guitar.
Yeah, that's it.
They weren't actually sad in the 90s.
No, it was just...
It was heavy gazing.
Yeah,
Just heavy
that's right. That's right.
Back
yeah.
problems.
That's it. That's it.
neck
That's-
pain. That's why they were like sorrow,
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
zombie tree, whatever it was.
Oh,
Zo-
the people obviously didn't see this, but when Jason said that, he actually double-handed the mic. Like, yeah,
Zombie
that's nice.
Because I read a
Hopefully,
top,
we got a picture
it
of
was a
that.
top 20 of, what was it, the Yarling? Do you guys know what Yarling is? It's that kind of style of singing. They're like Pearl.
Oh, I was gonna say Creed.
Pearl Jam. Stone Temple Pilots are Yarlers too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just do like. There was like a top 20, and I didn't realize there'd been that many Yarling bands. But Pearl Jam kind of does it by accident because that's just how he better sounds like a donkey. He does. Come on. Like he sounds. He sounds. Like
What kind of donkeys have you heard in your life, man?
they're very musically attuned ones.
He's never seen a donkey or heard a donkey.
I've ridden one though. No. Anyway,
Whoa,
Okay.
PG, please.
so Stone Temple Pilots, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rush, which is a band that you're either really into or you just when people ask you what band you're into, you say Rush, and everyone goes, "Oh, nice."
Yeah, and then people say, I can't stand the singer's voice, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, but it's a given. It's easy. That's his voice, but the whole thing of it, like the whole like what it represents, it's so cool. There's some periods, heavy synths, heavy rock and roll, grungy.
The
90s.
the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
period.
well, yeah, that's not my favorite one. I'm shy to say that, but I like the synthesizer period.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very good
like,
period.
Yeah, Hold Your Fire, Presto. Well, Presto's more like rock, back to rock though. Roll the Bones is my favorite ones.
I never
Okay.
believed
It's
he
me.
wrote lyrics. I always sounded like stream of consciousness, like.
But it's
and then-
Neil.
and he went
Neil,
out the door and he came out. and he
the
went-
drummer
yeah,
writes the
yeah,
lyrics.
Neil
Yeah,
Peart, yeah.
Neil. Neil guy.
First thing I ever heard of Rush was someone who collected 7-inches and had like, it was just a 7-inch of Neil Peart solo from a show. That's 7 inches of Neil Peart. What? Did we just find the title of this episode? This is how it happens, by the way. We're not that brilliant. It just comes out in stupidity, we say.
Comes out.
Okay.
7 inches, apparently.
I'm trying to keep this PG, guys. AA meeting's not helping. All right. Musical influences, go.
well, for me, like I said, the Jimi Hendrix Experience was a big influence.
course.
Obviously, Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding was their main bassist, who I always appreciated. I grew up. My mother was a pianist. She taught piano her whole life. I had music around me the whole time.
That's a big deal.
Watch your mouths, gentlemen.
No, but that's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
When you hear piano in the house, it does something to you.
Yeah. There was always like
say
jams
that.
in my house, and my dad played guitar, and so I
Word.
just grew up in that environment. My brother was a guitarist in my first band.
Oh, I want to say my dad's a drummer. Okay,
Yeah, so are you.
Is he?
say.
Our generation.
I'm
is-
your father.
Yeah, so it's I grew up thinking of music as a whole, but I wanted to be a guitarist. So I listened to Steve Ray Vaughan, John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, and Buddy Guy, and those guys, and then I found Jimi Hendrix, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's
Who
incredible.
knew? Yeah.
Yeah, and as a young guy, and I started listening to all that stuff. Unfortunately, everywhere you look, there was a guitarist.
Of course.
So I wanted to try and find something new, and you know what, I just grabbed the drums and said, you know what, nobody's playing drums around me, and I started playing. So a lot of my influences are like full bands, bands like Led Zeppelin obviously is a huge full band. All of those guys are monsters. Cream with Ginger Baker and Eric Clapton and Jack Bruce. Those guys are all awesome. The Police.
Yeah. The Police.
In talking
Very good.
about funny voices
Yeah.
and people that
That's
hate
it.
songs based on voices, Sting gets that rap too.
Yeah.
Yet if you listen to the music, those guys are amazing. Three guys can put out all those different sounds and those different styles.
And be dickheads.
Also,
well, there's that part too.
Let's
yeah.
fight.
That to me, that's a true testament of an art. You're like, I hate you, but let's make good music.
It's
I
the
can't.
sign of success.
I still listen to the music.
I'll forgive you for so many things.
Exactly. You're a terrible person. I'll buy you a new album. I just want to hear the bass. I'm so weak. You're so strong.
That's it. And then my last
I want some
actual
of your strength. Sorry.
my last actual influence is one that's a little odd. Is Rage Against the Machine.
It's no, that makes total sense.
That's an art.
That makes
Yeah,
total
it
sense. I
doesn't-
can see the lineage from Hendrix
Yeah.
to, especially the early stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to a song like "Darkness" off of the Crow soundtrack.
Yep.
That's a totally different Rage, where you can hear the seeds of the like riffage that will come later, but there's like there's guitar noodling, there's like funk.
And that's like the
yeah.
best soundtrack ever.
Yeah, pretty
The
good.
Crow soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
got The
amazing.
Cure,
Stone Temple Pilots. 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, that's a sick.
Yeah.
I forgot how sick.
The Cure. And you said The Cure, right?
I said The Cure.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
You're the curator of the discussion here. You
I
said
might be.
playing that solo on the. He's in the Crow. He's playing that crazy solo on the rooftop. Who's actually who's playing? You know,
I don't know.
I forget.
it's pretty cool little like.
It's one of those CDs that you lose when, in our generation, when you had that friend that had the first CD burner, and then you brought over your CDs in a sports bag, because that's how you did it in the old days. You just put them all in like your gym bag, right? You're like, bro, I want you to burn me the sickest mix. He's like, it's gonna be ready in 3 weeks. And then you stop talking to that guy, and then you're like, fuck, I have to. Excuse me. I'm gonna have to buy Symphony of Destruction again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy Master of Puppets again. I'm gonna have to buy the Judgment
Never mind.
Night soundtrack.
Exactly.
Oh, that was another good soundtrack.
Exactly.
That was a
Yeah.
weird sound.
I love you, Mary Jane. That was
How the hell did they get Cypress Hill
Yeah.
and Pearl Jam in the same room? Weed. But
Ice-T and Body Count.
Ice-T and some Slayer.
Oh, it's Slayer. That's it. They were Body Count.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And a bunch of bands we'll never hear from again.
Yeah.
Like what was it? Fate No More.
Biohazard.
And someone called the Booyah Tribe.
Yeah.
From which we thankfully never heard from again.
This is where I'm going with. my
And that
influences.
movie was
Yeah,
really
bands
good
I
too.
was
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Judgment's Night.
I don't
Yeah.
want to
Tribe.
see it again because it probably aged badly, but
No,
at the
it did,
time
yeah.
it was dope. What about you?
Well, that's it.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, exactly. I like really weird bands.
I was gonna say
People-
Great Big Sea.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say I got the Much Music all the '90s bands, especially the Canadian ones that came through, like Sloan, 5440. All these bands that people
Oh, yeah.
do not like. I love those kind of bands.
There are exceptions, but I hated most of them.
Yeah.
But Moist I hated.
Yeah,
Tea Party, for some reason, I was obsessed with, and I get made
Yeah.
fun of for.
yeah.
Like yesterday, someone made
I
fun
like.
of me.
I like
First
the-
3 albums.
Yeah,
the '90s
exactly.
bands also like. Everybody knows I'm a fan of Hootie and the Blowfish. That sounds odd.
They weren't bad though.
And
They
one
were
band,
pretty good.
there's bands like that, like another band that actually, if people ask me what do we
Fired.
sound like, people don't realize it, but we actually sound a little bit or look a little bit like the Spin Doctors. Why?
Oh.
I
have a
Metro
hilarious-
won't like that.
I have a great Spin Doctor story.
But
after.
only because our they have a left-handed bass player.
Oh,
also,
okay,
but he's
that's
the
why.
blackest guy ever, and Metzger's like the whitest guy
Yeah.
ever.
Okay.
But no, the Spin Doctors actually everybody
Edit
knows
that
them
out.
for two princes. Yeah, exactly. No, but
we
like
live in racially charged times.
everybody knows
just throw-
everybody knows Two Princes and all those
Yes.
songs.
That Rachel
But the
comment
Spin
out.
Doctors still make albums today, and they're legit amazing albums
Yeah.
that they make.
Do they?
Absolutely.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
another
Alex
band-
has really
yeah, I got weird
out
stuff.
there tastes.
I got weird
I think
stuff.
we've just fired our singer.
Yeah.
So
You guys
it's
are
like
looking for a singer.
it's like 1990 something.
It's 97 in my
Were you,
head.
were you finished?
You guys recruiting?
You did
There's
you-
one
so-
last band.
Wait, go.
I'd like to
Okay, I'll let you
audition.
finish.
The one band that Adam and I, you're gonna cut out this entire part.
No,
Right?
no,
No, this is the best part.
The Darkness. So when you said the Darkness, Adam and I
Oh.
looked at each other because the band The Darkness, who also are back, and we've seen them a couple times, and
Is he still wearing the skinny
yes,
clothes? Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who's singing falsetto, right?
yeah,
Yes.
they're actually awesome. They're coming to Montreal in April. We're going. We're bringing Cardi.
Musically, they're great.
Yeah.
Fire in the
I
hole.
know.
I don't know.
I turned on them when I saw some documentary with Lemmy from Motorhead, and he's sitting next to David Grohl, and then for some reason out of nowhere, he's like, exactly. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you can do that anytime, literally. And they're like, "Hey, it's the guy. What do you think of the guy from The Darkness?" Like, he's an asshole. Like he just like he like shits on him. Like he doesn't explain why. I'm like, okay, I hate him too.
I think Justin went through a very. He's the. Is it Justin who's the singer? Yeah. I think he went through a very dark period because he was pretty like
That's
hooked on
ironic.
coke.
Darkness.
And then he apparently went into rehab. I don't know if he's like back into it
Oh, he's, like,
now,
clean now.
but
Yeah, he's
apparently
clean
since
as
he's
hell.
come back, like things are much better, and that's why they had originally breaking up.
Okay.
But Alex and I went to see The Darkness in Toronto.
They sound legit.
And honestly, one of the most amazing shows in terms of what you're going to see and the sound quality. These guys, I mean, they know what they're doing. Like they are spectacular. And everyone, it's kind of like a Rush thing where it's like, oh, I don't like his voice. Yeah, but just listen to what they're doing.
Yeah.
And yes, they kind of sound jokey a little bit, especially that I believe in a thing called Love, which is a great tune. But I mean, they know how to rock.
They should tour with Steel Panther.
I love Steel
They
Panther.
have.
I think they
have, my friend.
I wanted to hate Steel Panther so much, but they won me over.
Tiger
My
Woods. The
song
Tiger Woods.
called
Spinal Tap.
No.
The Tiger Woods song is so funny.
The Chinese something.
It's a song where the guy keeps saying like it's like a ballad, and it's like if you loved me, you would you would let me bring other girls home. Like he's like the worst person ever, but he sings it in the perfect
It's just being honest.
of an
being
80s
honest.
ballad. Like
Being
know,
honest.
if you loved me, if you really really loved me, you'd let me do, and like it's all horrible things. Like you'd pay my rent and stuff like that. Like he's just the worst.
I like where
human
this is
being.
going.
But if you really loved me, then
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in
Okay,
the hole.
so Spin Doctor story, real quick. It's 1990 something,
Right.
and the girl I'm dating at the time somehow gets tickets to the Voodoo Lounge tour for the Stone Temple. Excuse me, the Rolling Stones, who I did not give any F's about personally, but I was like,
Ronnie
remember,
Wood. Oh my God.
they're a big band. I should go see them. I was too young to, of course, realize how big of a tour this was, and it was in the stadium.
Yeah.
It was massive.
I know where you're going. I know who the opening band for that tour was.
So we're sitting in like the fifth
don't.
row with all these people our parents' age, and we're like, oh, it's gonna be a boring show. Suddenly they all start lighting up, and it was like, you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? You guys know what Cloud Kill is?
Yeah, sorry.
This massive green cloud like materializes over a section. We're just like, it was super surreal. You're like 17, surrounded by parents, and they're doing all the smoking, all the smoking, and the show hasn't even begun.
You know that's going to be us now,
Yeah,
right?
no, but it was crazy. I was just not prepared for it, and I was just like, we were high because everybody around us was talking, and it's all like mom and pop type situation. So like massive stage, the Stones are about to come and like tear it all down, but first, ladies and gentlemen, the Spin Doctors.
What?
Exactly. Yep.
And out
yeah.
come these dudes, and it was literally like, you know, you ever been to a hockey game? You know,
Yes.
at halftime when they let the little peewee guys,
It's the best part of the show.
they let them skate through.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh look, they're so adorable. They got little hockey outfits on. This was the Spin Doctors, and God love them.
They had little
tried.
hockey uniforms on?
They did. It was really odd.
Tim Bits.
This is my last Fire in the Hole podcast.
But
I'm
they
out.
came
I can
out
see- I
like
can
they
feel it.
they left their souls on the stage, but they had no business opening for the Stones. Like no business. Everyone's just like, who the f are these guys? And they did their hits. They did the Kryptonite.
If the Stones
Pockets
are
Full of
listening
Pockets.
by any chance to Fire in the Hole, AA meeting
They do.
would open for them if they wanted.
It feels like
Just-
that would be the right connection.
Yeah, because they definitely need it.
We'll put in a
Definitely.
good word for you.
Thanks,
The
Rich.
Stones, if you want to
Do it
be
again.
popular again, the AA meeting will let them open for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If we're not busy.
We
I
have
mean,
a
you guys
left-handed
aren't
bass
relevant.
player, too.
You guys are not relevant
That's how
anymore.
the Spin Doctors got on. They had a left-handed bass player.
If you want to feel like you did in the old days, you want some of that magic, contact 188. I'm just making up a phone number. I don't know.
188 AA meeting?
It would have to have 8s, your
Yeah.
phone number.
Yeah, for sure.
Do bands? We should do this.
Band phone number?
The first band with a hotline. It's just like a 1888 number
888?
for no reason.
Yeah, well,
And
there-
we'll
yeah,
sing
we
a
have
song-
one.
We'll sing a song for you on command.
Check your phone.
to press
your phones.
to talk to Adam, press 1. Awesome.
Why don't you just tell me who you want to talk to?
To talk to Matt, check your phone.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, see, I just had to say something dumb, and you guys came up with a concept. This is a good band, Richard.
I like it.
Just creativity.
I
here.
have a good feeling
We
about
all let
this.
Adam go last because we hope he's going to talk about the hip. If not, I'll go into it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the hip as an influence,
'Cause I was
but
letting Adam
yeah,
go.
Is that a big deal?
we're all a big hip fans.
I'm a big hip fan. I can tell you about my influences if you want.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're here.
Tell us the story.
I am here. Well, actually, first of all, I would like to say Happy New Year to you guys. Jason and Richard, who are some good friends of mine and my wife's. It's really good to see you guys, first of all.
Mostly your wives. Yeah.
Most of them, yeah. By proxy, I guess.
We
prefer
like you
Sonia
too.
She, hi, Sonia.
Full disclosure.
Sonia has some stuff for you guys,
that's
actually,
me.
but not Jason.
That's so sweet.
I love that. I love awkward stuff like that. I love it.
I got something for you, but not you, and I forgot it. So there you go.
Not really you.
For both of you, but not for both
I
of
got you this. Okay, I bought it for myself, and I don't like the taste of it. So here you go.
Yeah, it's not so good, so you can have it. Here's my
I
leftovers.
love that shit.
Here's my Spin Doctors. But it's really great to see you guys. And Fire in the
Likewise.
Hole really is an awesome podcast. I do listen to it when I can, as often as I can. And I wish both of you the best of success
Thank you.
and
Likewise,
continued
homie.
success to everything you're doing. And maybe at some point we can talk about your comedy there, Jason, because I haven't seen you in a while doing your stand-up
Me
thing.
neither.
But
I've
no.
been off the circuit for a little while. I don't know if I'll get back up, but that's a story for another time.
Okay. Maybe we can. Maybe the AA meeting could host a Fire in the Hole podcast, and you guys can tell us about what you guys are up to one day.
Possibly.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the listeners are just listening for whatever reason tonight, you should go back and listen to the old Fire in the Hole podcast because there's some really good stuff. You can scroll through everything and check out some cool subjects that might lead you into some
Yeah.
things you like.
This is an excellent
Yeah.
time. iTunes just rejected us for some reason.
Did
Yeah,
they
we
really?
We just got kicked off of iTunes. I'm not sure why.
I think they did
We-
like the equivalent of the Facebook like cleaning. This because it happened right after New Year's. They're like, your material is no longer suitable for iTunes. We're like, what?
No,
Oh, you know what? Good.
It's a
Because if it's suitable for iTunes, forget it.
it's
Right?
it's a technical glitch. We'll be back on soon.
Yeah, it's some sort of mistake.
In that case, sorry guys, but we no longer want to do this podcast.
Okay, fair enough.
That's fine.
It's been real.
We're the good boys.
Thank you for the shout out, Adam. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Really good to see you guys. And if it wasn't for actually Fire in the Hole, 'cause I really do love you guys. I got a little 2-year-old daughter, so I haven't been getting out as much. But I think Fire in the Hole at least let me see you guys 3 more times than I would have normally seen you. So at least Fire in the Hole allows me to see you guys. But
I'm a little disappointed. I was
it's
like,
good to see you.
I was waiting for some sort of like I conceived my daughter because of the show or something like really powerful like that. One of your shows made us so hot for each other.
Well,
And then I'd be like, which episode? Because we don't do anything.
well, actually, it is a true story. Because of Fire in the Hole, I do have a daughter,
Oh, there you go.
but not
See?
your Fire in the Hole.
See, at the Still Ice Thunder.
It's Sapporo.
Okay,
So
what's
you
the
wanna-
time code?
You gonna edit that out,
Time
Richard?
code, edits.
Yeah, 39.
My mother's a penis is still my favorite one.
Star for.
Uh,
Can you draw a little scissor next to Justin's scissors?
Cut. it
Sit
out.
and a knife. And some more cutting implements. There we go.
So influences
hip,
by
the hip.
my first influence. I got to talk about it before, I guess, but is definitely Eric Clapton is basically the guy that got me into just playing in general.
He's all right.
He's okay. I mean, he's been around maybe too long and slow hand. Who's this guy?
You know.
But his stuff with that's where
He's
I think Carney. Yeah, he's lazy. That's why he's so slow. I think that's where Carney and I get along with very well. Is I mean, Cream especially with Clapton stuff, and Carney being a huge Ginger Baker fan, we sort of get along well there. And from Clapton, I really spread out into all his influences, which I think most artists should do. Whoever you love, you should see who they love, and then figure out where they go. So because of him, I got really into blues and those things. And what? And techno.
Old Dirty Bastard.
Old Dirty Bastard.
It's just
in
an
sync.
organic progression.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense,
Aqua.
right? I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
We did that once, actually.
I mean, that's just a really simple progression there.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's no point to talk about it. It's so obvious. Clapton to
Wesley
Aqua,
Willis.
Aqua, and
we did Barbie
Boys to
Girl,
Men,
though.
those things.
We're
Kesha.
joking about Barbie Girl, but we've done Barbie Girl.
Barbie Girl.
We've
We
done
actually
it.
have
We
played
actually-
Barbie Girl live. And
cut it out.
cut it out. You can cut
When
that out.
Metro joined, that was
That was the last time we did
I
it.
have no joke. There's no joke. It's already
I
there.
got nothing.
The joke's already been.
It's too easy.
Eric Clapton, is it right that it was he was known as Slow Hand until he made the song Cocaine?
Well, the reason
That'll
Metro's
definitely
asking
speed up your hand.
Metro's doing the interviewing
Yeah,
part now.
the reason I believe the reason why it's called Slow Hand is in somewhere in England, I guess most of England, everywhere, I guess. There used to be
he's British.
something called
no.
Fire in the Hole.
No.
There used to be something called a slow hand clap.
Okay.
So when things were going well,
Fire
that
in the Hole.
slow hand clap would start, right? And apparently he would often break strings, and during the time of a string break, he would actually change it on stage to keep playing, in which case a lot of people would do the slow hand clap while he was doing it. And since his name was Clapton, they used to call him Slow Hand Clapton, and then it just slow hand and
Damn, that's clever.
apparently.
You heard it here first, folks.
I hope
After
you heard it here
40
first.
years,
Anyway.
Clapton
Breaking
mystery.
news.
Breaking news.
The Clapton mystery.
Clapton mystery.
Right here, ladies and
A
gentlemen.
moment of our heritage.
That's right.
The more you know.
They-
It's one to
Knowing-
grow on.
Knowing's half the battle. Yo, Joe.
That's my favorite one.
There we go.
I'm sorry, did you want to add something to that?
No, I was just making noise.
Okay. All right. Well, you could just do it in the mic.
That's what the drummer does. Speaking of Carney and the mic, maybe Alex could give him a little lesson on how to hold the mic when he's talking, because he's doing the Stevie Wonder thing a lot. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's bad for the podcast.
I
So
respect that. I
Yeah.
So he
respect
doesn't
that.
do back vocals.
that's it. No, not
It's
yet.
okay, I've been adjusting.
Again, a very
I see Richard's always
A very
playing with the
drummer,
knobs.
very drummer like he's
He's
self-effacing.
Yeah, that's it. That's what
Yeah,
he'll do.
His mother's a penis.
Next podcast, he'll
Yet
have it.
loud. He has to be the loudest, but the softest. All that
That's right.
stuff. Okay.
Was
Was there? Okay. Enough about how
to
many,
go
how
there.
much you agree on stuff. What bands are like? How can you listen to that? Like, is there any?
like bands I don't like?
Like, are there any bands that you guys like don't agree on?
Yeah. Go
Oh
with
yeah,
it.
there's
All of my bands.
basically all of Alex's bands, and until this podcast, I don't think the rest of the AA meeting realize what his influences are. And if anybody wants to audition for singing for AA meeting, please give us a call at 188 AA meeting. 88. No, we only have 2 8s.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We don't
that's
have
good.
time for the third 8.
That's too many.
In
small
terms of
numbers.
bands
8 years-
over
in 8 years
instead of
left in
artists, I mean, obviously like Carney, Zeppelin, and all these bands that got me going. And as I got actually more in my teens, my brother used to listen to a band. I think they're from Canada. Maybe you guys can help me out on that. They were called the Tragically Hip.
Hip.
And
Doesn't ring a bell.
yeah, I think
Tragically
think
Hip?
they're from Canada. Yeah, somewhere from around here. Kingston, maybe. Yeah.
Please don't.
And these guys just album after album after album just totally knocked, I think, all 4 of our socks off. That's probably our.
Yeah, especially since
Our-
it was basically the same album every time. Just kept, I needed to do that.
Again, last Fire in the Hole podcast I'm going to do.
There are so many cables they could strangle me with, guys. You could only see the cables. You won't know who killed me. This is my last broadcast.
It's okay. We'll have you back. We know you're kidding around. But yeah, the Hip really. It took me a while to warm up to them actually, because his voice has changed over many albums, and he used to have a pretty shaky voice.
Yeah,
That little like he did quite a bit, I guess. And after it seems like every time I hear these guys, any song, any album, something new comes up that I never really heard before. And I think that's why I just love them so much. I mean, everyone talks about Gord, obviously, which is kind of why AA Meeting got back together. But as a band, I mean, they're just incredible. They're so good. They're so tight. They know what they're doing. They support Gord. And Gord just goes up there, and he now, well, not now, I guess, but he had the reins to just do whatever he wanted because the band just held everything together. And
Chemistry.
the chemistry was amazing. And they were like friends from elementary or high school. Like they were friends since '85 and played in a band for 30 years. Like I don't know if I've known anybody for that long. And these guys played music for that long. So obviously they knew each other. And obviously with Gord's death and him having getting crazy cancer and how much it affected him, actually that's what brought the AA Meeting back together on the last show that CBC was showing. Like many people across Canada, Alex held a huge party in his backyard with a big screen outside, and
nice.
we projected the live show, and we had a bunch of people there crying and sobbing and drinking and doing all kinds of. It was just a really cool experience, and the last four guys left over were the band.
The four of us.
It was the first time we met. It was the first time Cowboy.
Everyone's gone. Let's form a band.
Let's form a band. I mean, that's what you do, right? The guys who were left.
That's
let's
what
play
I do.
music.
Sure.
And that sparked us just to start playing again.
That's cool.
And with Gord starting his Downey Wincheck Foundation, which is the Foundation for Reconciliation with the Aboriginals and Non-Aboriginals.
Whoa, hang on a second. Slow down.
Okay.
How did that happen?
You
You segued from Tragically Hip into
Yeah.
this. I feel like I'm missing a piece of this.
Okay, well, Gord Downey,
Yes.
who's the lead singer of the Tragically Hip, while he was on his last years, in his last sort of maybe last 3 or 4 years, he's a great Canadian in terms of he loves Canada, but he doesn't love it unconditionally, and he realizes that Canada could be even greater than what most people think it is, because we always say, oh, Canada, we're so peaceful, we're so this, and we're nice. And we are, for the extent. Meeting? Canada, And Gord was always good at sort of pointing out the things that weren't so great about Canada and what we should do to make it better. And as he was getting older, he started, because he always, when he would tour, he would always like go for walks, and he liked to see all the little nooks and crannies of Canada, which a lot of people don't know. I mean, I don't. So he'd check all this out, and I think he started to realize that, wait a second, like, yes, we're a nation, but we've only really been one for 150 years, and that was because we sort of came and took over from people who've been here already, and the monstrosities we've done to the Aboriginal people. I mean, like, the people around here haven't done that because it was so far back.
I have.
I know you have.
That was inappropriate.
We'll edit that one out, Richard.
That's what I do.
So I think what really inspired me with Gord is once he sort of realized that, wait a second, we're missing something here. Like, I love Canada, but Canada isn't what we think it is in terms of what about all the people that were here first?
Right.
And all the stuff that we're not doing or that we're not including, and even certain stats and certain things that we put out don't include the Aboriginal or the First Nations peoples. So it's all skewed, and everyone sort of thinks, hey, we're this big, happy Canada.
You're like a ghost nation. Like
Exactly.
bad band name, Ghost
yeah,
Nation.
no, but that is a name of
do
an
this,
album,
guys.
maybe.
But seriously, they're an invisible people.
They definitely are, and in my line of work, I work with troubled youth, and the whole story that Gord started with The Secret Path, which is an album he did basically on his deathbed, which was about basically a kid who got taken away from his family and put into a residential school. That's already a horror story. But if you think about when this happened, and not only was the kid taken away from his family, he was taken away from his culture, his livelihood, his language, and everything he knows, and was told that was all wrong. And it's not really a story. It's about one kid. That was a story.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of
I
people.
knew
But
some Mi'kmaq guys.
yeah,
That exact story.
exactly. And it's
with soap in their mouth, literally, when they spoke their language. Actual
terrible.
soap.
And you're going to burn in hell, in our Christian hell, if you don't believe this, even though their culture really is about the earth and how to live amongst animals, life, and keeping the planet safe.
Right.
And, so Gord really tapped into this and it really affected him. And we all feel it's just so incredible that this guy on his deathbed. I mean, if you
It
found
rang a
out,
bell with you.
yeah, and if you found out like, hey, I'm on my deathbed, what are you gonna do? You're probably just gonna say, hey, I have an open pass to just sort of hang out and do whatever the hell I want. Yet
I'd
Gore,
definitely go to Best Buy.
oh yeah,
Just last 24 hours.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Bit of a, bit of a
Check your
shop-
drones.
bit of a shopping spree. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this
The
whole thing like touched you guys, and then it led to
it led to us kind of saying, hey, you know what? Gord's sick. He might be dying. We don't know when he's going to last. Let's just play a show in honor of Gord. That's kind of how it started. And then we were thinking, how can we raise money? And I mean, for me personally, that we were talking about, well, let's raise money for cancer. And I mean, we've all known people go through cancer. And personally, I have a weird feel about cancer funds. I'm not quite sure where the money's actually going.
Yeah, it's a bit hazy.
Yeah, I work for a cancer foundation. I just sort of feel like I don't know where the money's going. I feel like if we haven't found
that was a big talk we had.
Yeah, we all want to do it.
Period.
Yeah, and I've done charities, and I don't
too.
know. And when Gord, was dying of cancer, he was working on raising awareness and knowledge and funds to bridge the gaps and make Canada even better than what it kind of already is. And he sort of said, it took 7 generations, 150 years, to sort of destroy what the First Nations people had, and it's probably going to take 7 more generations to make it right. But we got to start now. And what I loved about it wasn't this, because the pendulum comes and swings and then goes completely the other way. And he was no, it can't go the other way. We have to do this together. We're all here now.
Wait, and the pendulum swinging the other extreme would be like too many subsidies, too much support, not enough incentive for progress.
Yes, and at the same time, it was going to divide us more.
Right.
And in a crazy time of the world where everything's being divided and divided, you're part of this, you're part of this, part of this. Gord sort of said, no, we're all in this together, man. Let's go. And it all touched us. And then I sort of said, because I work with a lot of people from Kujwak and sort of, the Inuit people. And I find it strange that they come to me and I have to help them out. And they're, I'm a very white, typical looking guy.
That's true.
Which most of them, have been taught that we're the white devil, right? So now I'm here to sort of help them get back to their regular way of being, yet they're kind of petrified of me. And
it's because of Disney movies, because that's what they do.
Pocahontas.
Yeah, that's that whole that she is. But that is the whole thing. No, it's like it's a touchy subject because like you genuinely want to help, but you also are gonna have to fight that stigma of being like, oh look, it's the white man coming to save us. He's so brave.
I think our role, if anything, is. And that's what we obviously want to push here tonight is to talk about the 2 shows we're going to be doing for this foundation. The money is one thing, but I think what Adam explains so well that I can't is just the awareness we're going to bring up and the people we've invited out and the people that are helping us to make this a success because we haven't even done them yet. And
sorry to interrupt you. The foundation is called...
So the foundation that Gord had started is called the Downey Wincheck Foundation. Or Fund.
Downey
for short.
Wincheck Fund.
I guess, Fund. And it really is, there really is to do 3 things. Raise awareness and give knowledge of what has already happened and to really have a reconciliation of the non-Aboriginals and the Aboriginal
Start
peoples
the
of
healing
Canada.
type thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So the show you guys are doing...
Yeah, we're doing 2 actually. So we got... February 2nd and February 6th. February 2nd and February 6th, a lot of people ask us why. Last year we came up with this idea, but time ran out on us a little bit. And why we want to do it on those dates, February 6th would have been Gord Downey's 54th birthday this year.
Okay.
So...
Shit, he died young.
Yeah.
And there's another coincidence.
I'll bring that up. So when I went to see these 2 bars, who are super supportive of our idea, I was like, guys, do you mind if we do this here? It's for they were all super into it. And the money we're going to raise is going to be amazing. But I think the awareness that we're going to bring up, just my buddies are the nicest guys in the world, but they don't really know anything about this. Fire the hole.
Might be the best one yet.
So I think the first show, February 2nd, is great. It's at McKibbin's, Vaudreuil.
Great bangers and mash.
It's the first time they're going to let an originals band play in their bar. The owner has given us a keg of beer to draw. All the money for the draw is going to go to the foundation. So we're really looking for, that's a big bar. It's huge. These guys are used to, he's played in front of thousands of people. I've never played more than
Hi.
100. But for me, I'm really excited about that. And February 6th, which is actually Gord's birthday, and this is a total coincidence. When Adam and I talked about doing this, we're like, what day could we do this? And he's like, hey, when's Gord Downey's birthday? So we look, we see February 6th. February 6th was the one day that we played a show and we had launched our album, which is 8 years ago, 2010. That was the last show we had played, and we didn't, obviously when we played February 6, 2010, we didn't know that was Gord Downey's birthday. So when we saw that, we're like, man, it's all of it together. So we're playing downtown here. We're playing at a place called L'Escalier from 7 to 9. The guy opening for us, and sorry, I have to say this, the two bands coming to open for us are sensational bands.
And they are?
Dr. Mindtrap is opening for us, friends of ours. We played with them in November. They're coming to open for us February 2nd. February 6th, Monsieur Philippe Routier.
AKA FitH.
FitH. He's a French artist. This guy is...
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Retire.
He's French? Are you sure he's French?
Yeah. Philippe Routier. Great artist. If people come and see him and leave after, I'll understand.
And also, like,
sensational.
on the 6th, it's a repeat of what we did 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he opened up for us when we launched our album at Saint Saint-Ambroise.
Yeah.
He's like a beast.
Yeah.
Guy's amazing.
Okay.
Unleashed.
And then a little shout out to a band named Too Many Unknowns, who they saw our idea, they saw our video on Facebook, and now they've invited us for us to open for them on the Saturday, February 10th. So we're actually doing 3 shows that week. The February 10th is not for the foundation, but we're going to do a little thing for Gord that night.
So you guys mentioned, you mentioned, Adam, having concerns about what is being done with monies given to charities and stuff. What makes this one different, apart from the fact that, of course, Gord Downey started? What are they doing with the money?
I feel this one, what I really sort of like about it is it seems like they're taking the money and using it first and foremost to actually just sort of spread the knowledge about what has happened in the past. And something that Gord said too, because all of a sudden there's like this guilt, like I feel this little guilt of like, I wasn't sure if I should be proud to be a Canadian, and I love Canada. And I was like, wait a second, what really do I? What's going on? And it seems like the way Gord explained it and reading through the fund, and I've actually talking to some people at the foundation telling them about the shows, and they're pretty good at getting back to me and stuff. And I feel first and foremost, they're just like, listen, we just want to get it out there so that people know what happened. And it was 150 years ago. So we recognize it wasn't people today that did that. But if we don't know what happened,
it's not that far back. Right?
It's not far back. It's not far back at all. That's it. This is crazy to me. And what I really liked was when Gord's talking about it, he's really mentioning that we didn't know this was going on. In schools, as a kid, I was not taught that, the European settlers came over here and hunky-dory and everything's fine and we settled and we colonized, we did this and that. But it wasn't really explained to us that it was genocide, the Aboriginal people that were here. And even though they came over here, the Aboriginal people helped them, made sure they were okay. They were all dying, and then all of a sudden it was basically, you're with us or we're going to kill you.
I had an Inuit history teacher in secondary too. I didn't know he was Inuit. I was just like, he's weird looking. Just because I'd never seen that type of person before, right? And he gave us the raw, I think that's why he became a history teacher. And so this is a super religious, super uptight, uniform, private school thing. And he's just laying it out us and there was a massacre here. And here they killed the women and the children. And we're just like, oh, God. So we actually accidentally got the actual skinny on what happened.
That's fantastic, though.
But clearly, it's not the same way they don't teach us how to pay rent.
Yeah. And actually, we're talking about the schools, but the book Secret Path is through the foundation they're helping. It's going into the schools now.
Okay.
Yeah, this Secret Path book with the recording, the song goes with every chapter of the book, and we all have it at home now. It's amazing, but the schools now, it's in schools in Canada.
The Secret Path, by the way, was not Gord's last album, but one of his. I can't believe he did 2 albums while he was dying. But his main project while he was sort of on his deathbed was this album called Secret Path, and a fantastic Canadian artist, Jeff Lemire, decided to link up with him, and he did all the artwork for it. And the Secret Path is about Cheney Wincheck, which is the Downey Wincheck Foundation, And basically, as a boy, he was taken away from his home, put in a residential school, and then he wanted to go back home. So he went to the train tracks, and he basically tried to walk back home, but
600
home
miles,
was 600 miles away, which is what, like 800 kilometers? Or so,
That's
I don't
far.
know. So, but he didn't really know. So the whole show is about, or the whole cartoon and album is about, Cheney trying to get back home. And Gord actually went to the family, the remaining members of Cheney's family, and spoke with them and said, do you mind if I do this? Like, I want to, and they loved it. They felt it was great. Then he even did a performance of it with the cart, and it's just amazing. And I found like it was tough to watch. It feels good. And to know that this guy in his deathbed basically did that, like we were talking about, if you knew you were going to maybe you had terminal brain cancer, you're going to die. Hey, you have the green light to do whatever you want. You can run red
Also, you're a
lights.
millionaire.
Yeah, you
But
can.
yes.
Yeah, right.
I
You
hear
can
what
do
you're
whatever.
saying.
You really can do whatever you want. But he decided, no. What I have to do
Is
make sure this story gets out, and that really resonated with me. And in reading Where the Money Goes, it seems like they're really. I mean, I hope it seems like it to me, compared to the cancer foundations that I've worked for. Where I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm losing where the money is going. It seems like this one they're really taking and they're putting it back out so that the non-Aboriginal people can learn what happened, and the Aboriginal people can start getting themselves out there and being part of
Healing the wounds.
different
This is our
stuff.
goal.
Yeah.
Cadence, what do you think about the Aboriginal situation? Oh, I see. Okay. Undecided.
Undecided. She's still
Go,
learning.
she's
that.
working on it.
Yeah.
Keep working on it.
She's texting.
Good job. Yeah, we got to get the kids involved.
Absolutely.
We're not going to solve this
Absolutely.
problem.
No.
We're not cool enough.
No. Well, and again, as Gord said, two things. Alex and I were lucky enough to go to the second last Tragically Hip show
Yeah.
That's
in
pretty
Ottawa.
badass.
Oh, it was crazy. We were sitting behind the stage, and things that struck us there. Well, me anyway. Gord said two major things. One, he said, "Please take care of each other." And he could have talked about, I'm dying of cancer, this, and he didn't. He said, I need you to take care of each other. And he said, I want you to look north and do something. And those two words, I don't know, they haven't left my head since I've heard him say that live. And he said it again on the CBC last show we did that was broadcast everywhere. And that seemed to really strike a chord, I think, with all four of us.
Pretty terrible. I meant to say really powerful.
It is very powerful.
I really
and,
wanted to be in the hip my whole life, but I just couldn't get into that band at all. And I felt like the one man that didn't understand sports in a group of really sports heavy dudes. So when people are like, the hip, right? I'm like, yeah. Fucking greatest band ever.
Yeah.
I knew that they were good. I still know they were good, but it's one of those tragic. It's like Mastodon. I know they're amazing, but I cannot. I can't click with them.
But it will happen. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's like someday you'll hear it. Like I was
You're
like
right,
that
maybe.
before. Like when I was younger, I was like the hip. It was like, I'm a French Canadian guy, and
Sure.
I'm from a background of people like voting Parti Québécois and all that stuff. The hip was like the Canada's
like the
band.
worst
yeah,
band.
Yeah. So I was like more into Beau Dommage. Like Beau Dommage is the Quebec band. It's like the equivalent of the Tragically Hip, but in Quebec. Yeah. No, that's another guy. But anyways.
I know what you mean.
So, but then, like, when I grew older, like, F this, identity thing. I'm just me.
Music is
I'm-
music.
Yeah, and just knowing that Gord was just like, he's a Canadian by default, but he was kind of like, I'm a human, and I don't really care about all that flag waving stuff, So, but I discovered them like later on, and then I got all their albums, and I'm really
Now you're into it.
discovering it, like for the first time,
Shit, maybe it'll happen to
It's
me.
a bit overwhelming because
I
they have
hated
so
Nine
much
Inch
albums.
Nails at first.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, what do you mean you don't like the last album? Nine Inch Nails is the greatest thing ever happened. Like, I changed my mind. So, yeah, we never know.
Yeah, and I got a similar story to that too. I was a little late to the hip party too. I always heard their music, liked it. It was fun. My
You had
brother,
no choice. It was on the radio all the
Yeah,
time.
it was always there, right? But because it was always there and it was
Yeah.
always their new stuff, and I was just like, yeah, they're there.
Whatever.
But I was exploring all kinds of different stuff and trying to find new music. And again, my punk band roots in the 90s and that, I was just doing other
You
stuff.
kind of had to hate the hip if you were a punk
In
band.
one sense, right? You went the other way. My brother and sister, like, they went to every show. My sister flew in to go to them with my brother, and I always passed it up. And I actually saw them for the first time in Toronto, which was their last show. And my sister come up and met me. And that was the first time I met them or saw them. And I remember leading up to that, we were talking about it. My sister was like, you've really got to listen to their music. They helped me through a lot of tough times in my life. And, you know, I just put that in the back of my head, not thinking much of it. But then I started to talk to other people about it, and they all said the same thing. Like, a certain song that the Hip wrote just really resonated with them. And, you know, I went through something in my life recently. It was around that time, and I started listening to their music, and I was like, wow, I can see that. And I can grab onto that and understand what he's saying, and it helped me get through it. So that's what converted me into these guys and made me realize, you know, for so many years and so many people they affected, I can only imagine. You know, it's a little bit late for me being there compared to some other people who were there from the beginning. But wow, what an influence, and what a way to touch people in so many different levels. Yeah. These guys are there.
Wow.
So you have a chance still.
Yeah, seriously. I worse now.
I think I think what would be important for anybody who's listening like you and thinking, that's not my thing. I understand. And
coming from a guy who likes to spin doctors.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I feel you guys. I mean,
yeah.
I love very, 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 very heavy, very fast, metal music. So I'm constantly that guy that's like, can't play his music at parties,
I get it.
I
It's
feel
the
you.
worst music.
But whether people will like it or not, I think what the Tragically Hip did for our age group is they gave us that when we're gonna be older, we're gonna be like, we were lucky. We grew up when the Gord Downie was there.
For real, yeah. Okay.
I think good point, yeah. in the history of Canada, I'm not saying he's the biggest songwriter. I mean, there's Gordon Lightfoot to my father, and there's all these other
Celine Dion
for some French Canadian. That's okay.
Yeah. The Guess Who?
I think in 20 or 30 years it'll be something that we grew up in the Gord Downie era. I'm a big sports guy, and everybody's like Bobby Orr. Dude, I don't know. I saw Sidney Crosby, and I think for 20, 30 years from now we're gonna be like, we saw Sidney Crosby. I think we got Gord Downie musically.
Yeah.
I don't like Sidney Crosby.
I'm gonna be like, I saw PK Subban be given away and then be amazing.
You know this?
Maybe we should play some.
Okay, no, we're not going to go there.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the Bell Center since June 29th, 2016.
Good man. Punish them. That's the only way they'll learn.
I have not been to the Bell Center.
I haven't watched a Habs game either since then.
Punish them.
Don't get me started on PK.
Yeah.
That was my boy. Anyway, all that to say, but sorry, so the February 2nd show, I forgot to say this,
Yes.
McGibbons has agreed to play hip music all night. So our opening band will play. We're going to play Gord music. Then we're gonna go on for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, and then it's gonna be all the hit.
And we're not gonna be a
awesome.
cover band of Tragically Hip. We're gonna play our own songs, but we're gonna do a wink. We have 2 songs that are from the Hips or whatever related catalog. So
Okay.
yeah, for the fans. Teaser.
I kind of like the one where he keeps going 35 years old, never kissed a girl. I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't know which song that is. 38 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that one's really good.
In his 30s. Yeah.
30 something. I was like, I don't know what the song's about, but I kind of.
About a guy who's been to jail.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
A girl. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, now that's
And then he found, and then he met like Katy Perry, and then he kissed a girl and I liked it, and it's like, oh, that's your song.
I thought it was about a really shy dude, and it's about a crushing tale of imprisonment, incarceration.
And then Katy Perry, she sang like Fireworks, and then Tragically was like, well, you got Fireworks too. We got
It all full circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Alright.
to add something to that, with our music, even though on February 2nd and the 6th, we're playing for, Gord and the Hip and the One Jack Foundation, I got the question asked to me recently, okay, so I'm going to come February 2nd. Are you guys doing like a Hip tribute or what's your deal? I said, no, we're playing our own music. And she said, well, like, how are you, tributing that band without playing their music?
Actual
I said, well,
songs,
we're doing a couple covers and going to get people into it, but there are songs that we love and we want to play and we put our own spin on it. I said, but what brings us together as a
like
band?
Spin Doctors a little bit.
No.
We'll put our own spin doctor on.
I mean, I know that's a weird.
Thanks for throwing that in
combination
for Alex. The eyebrows looking really happy right now.
I got you, bro. I got you back.
Yeah, no, but the reality is a lot of our music is influenced from these guys.
Yeah.
It was a band that brought us together for different reasons like we talked about, but also because of the timing of it. It brought the 4 of us together in the same room. And then a lot of our music is just kind of influential of it because we were really into it, obviously, with Gord being sick and all the
the
publicity.
title is a Night of Music in honor of Gord Downie. So we're not like doing hip songs because Gord Downie was an artist foremost, and he liked that unknown band.
Yeah,
you
you're
know.
embracing the spirit of
Yeah,
the thing.
he
more than
was
the
a
actual
creator,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
imitating. So you're okay. Yeah, okay. You're paying tribute to him by being creative yourselves.
yeah, and then like contributing to his foundation. You know, like
Right. That's also big. Richard, you into hip? I never checked with you on that.
Yeah, I used to. I mean, casually.
I'm just trying to get him to talk.
Casually into hip.
No, really, casually. What does that mean?
Casually hip.
I'd casually hip.
Like you see each other, but you don't want to label it? Is that?
Yeah.
He said
We're
he's
just
casually
hip.
This is Richard's probably favorite podcast because there's so many of us here. He literally doesn't have to say a word.
Uh huh. Yeah. Well,
or can say a word.
Yeah, we're
It's
talking
really-
a lot.
it's more of a can than a want to.
I'm working here, guys.
I'm working.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah, man. Richard is the podcast. He's the gourd of this
this
operation.
foundation.
The foundation.
One thing, I don't want to go back on the PK thing, but we are on February 6th.
You just
we
hold
are.
the mic back just a little bit. Just
We're going to be
there you
premiering.
go. Good
We're
man.
gonna be
No, no.
Well, we're going to be premiering a song because I write a lot of our songs are written. I try to do a little bit of the gore thing. It's about stuff. I don't write songs about.
What you
Nothing.
feel?
And we wrote our first ever French song about PK, and we're premiering it
Wow.
February 6th.
That is the most
Yeah,
Quebec
guess-
thing I've ever heard in
Yes.
my life.
Guess the name of the song.
Bilingual. It's a bilingual title.
That would really mess me up.
I have a very dark mind. I'm just gonna let you guys tell me.
Okay, go ahead.
76.
Ah.
So,
Ooh,
so
65.
65. But just to go back to the PK thing, and I'm like, I know every single NHL player. Like, I'm a big NHL guy, and we grew up in a city that we didn't see the Habs win. At my age, and I'm like, 37 years old. I saw the Habs win once. That was the one guy who wanted to play here. He was the one guy who,
Twice.
the second he got drafted,
Hey,
we were
big-
6 years old the
Oh,
first
okay.
time. He was the one guy who wanted to play here. He was the one guy when he got drafted was crying. And for them to trade him, and I still don't give a fuck what the reason is, that was my guy.
Okay. They
And
lost you. They lost you a little bit that day.
that day. Well, I used to sit with my buddy, our social media team. Frank is my best friend. He does all our social stuff when we're playing. I used to sit in bars with him. Upcoming to this, I said, dude, if ever they trade him, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna get emotional here, but that was my boy.
I just want to say we talked about Gord, who's actually dead, and no tears. He's talking about a guy who's
Yeah, I
still
know.
alive, has a lot of money,
Yeah.
and is another town,
Yeah.
and he's getting emotional.
I'll say one thing though. I'll say this.
I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying this
Yeah.
is how much this shit
Yeah.
meant
Well,
to you.
But I'll say one
Seen
thing.
him at the last show that we watched outside with
Yeah,
Gord Downing.
he was-
Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt. I'm just
But
playing.
but PK last year came 2 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup,
Uh-huh.
and for the guy who was the problem
Yes.
on the team, it's total fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And the day these guys said, Alex, we're gonna do it again, I was super happy and pumped. Right? I'm like, I'm doing a song for PK.
And funny fact, like the day that Gord passed away, I was at home and I was just like, just working on songs. And I was like, oh, how can I pay tribute to Gord? And I wrote, and I like, cause he sent me the lyrics to 76 like a week before.
Yeah.
I haven't like come down to like writing it, and then just started writing something. And on that day,
Yeah.
I recorded 76 on the day that Gord passed away. I sent that to this guy. I'm pointing at Alex there, the NHL fan there, and he was like, "I don't know, man, about that song. I don't know about the feel. It's too soft." And then he likes it now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I guess this is a natural segue into the question that I wanted to ask you guys earlier. What the process is like? How do you? I've listened to music my whole life. I went to musical school. I pissed away everything that I learned there. I was taught classical piano. I was taught like everything that you could possibly dream of musically, and I did nothing with it. But I'm buying a MIDI keyboard. Everybody, good news.
Nice.
Good news. It's all gonna pay. It's all gonna pay off.
Slow clap.
Slow hands, everybody. Slow hands. And one thing that has always fascinated me, especially with Ozzy Osbourne, how the fuck does he write songs?
Yeah. Well,
when he can't talk. How does he-
what's good with us is there's no way of doing it. There's been a way like lately of doing it.
Uh-huh.
A fire in the hole. Yeah, we missed that
Fire in
one.
the hole.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, there's no way of doing it. It's
no one set
It
way.
happens like for like some of the newer songs. What happened is Alex would send me the lyrics, and I would be at home in my home studio and just like inventing the song and then sending it to those guys, and they would learn it and they would practice it, and then it would be great, and it would.
Hang on, like you come up with bass parts or the whole thing?
No, the whole I'd like do a drum part on
Okay.
my computer. I'm a guitarist, so I record keyboard. Yeah, I'm a guitarist. I record keyboards. Yeah,
Well,
I
it kind
record.
of sounded like you said I'm a guitarist.
I'm a guitar.
Which I would have just like the respect level would have just gone through the
Yeah,
roof.
that's my next instrument to learn. Yeah. So I would record the guitars also, the solos and everything. But when I would send them to Adam, though, I would take out the guitars because he doesn't like hearing. Yeah, he's an artist too. He's like, I want to do my own stuff,
A
But
control freak, yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
You say guitarist, it's the same thing. It means
Control freak.
Control-
Yeah.
control-
But there are other times like we would jam and then we invent like a part together, and then I would go home with that part and then work on that and invent something.
I think it's important for us to also say how this all started. Is Adam and I
Yeah.
went to his place and we wrote 10 songs. I think the first week we met. So Adam and I wrote these songs, and that's
still
the
play 'em.
core part
But
of our show.
Again, like you have these lyrics, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I know this song and it's about this, and here's how the lyrics go.
Yeah.
But do you have like a melody in mind, or you're just
Oh,
like
he's a poet.
spoken wording it, and then
He's
And
really
then-
good at structure, though. He writes the thing. He's like first chorus, first verse, and then a chorus, and then solo. He knows where the solo is. He doesn't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
the solo
I-
is, but he
I
writes
have a way
it.
that I want to
Bridge.
see it,
He
but
writes
I
that
let
stuff.
the three of them, like the first part
you
of
hear
a
that, guys? He lets you
Yeah.
the first part
fight.
of a
Fight. I'm kidding.
that's a song. That's a song.
I came here to break up this band.
No. But no, the first part of a meeting was Adam and I, there's a couple songs I had an idea. There's a couple songs that Adam had an idea. But now I think he used the word earlier was organic. It's just I have the structure, but these three are like pros.
Okay.
So I let them do their thing, and I fit my lyrics around them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, every song is. I think every single song we've had is built a little bit
Okay.
differently.
Yeah.
So you're already writing lyrics with kind of a, you're leaving these spaces open.
Well, actually, sometimes he commands it because, like, for Jody, we have a song called Jody. He was like, I want this song to be a punk song. So I was at home, is like, okay, let's try to write a punk song. So I was kind of like punking it out,
Uh-huh.
and so he decides to.
I think what's awesome with these like last couple of songs that we wrote, now that we're AA meeting 2.0 as we call it, because we're back after 8 years. Chapter 2, sorry.
You guys should have those like coins, like in the actual AA meetings. You know, the little coins they get, like the 1 year, 2 year thing.
Stick around, Jason.
I want 10%. 10%.
Well, but what's cool with like for me working with the cowboy is when he's writing songs, like I can't believe it, because like I said, he'll send me the songs, and I've asked him, "Do you take the guitar out just so I'm not too influenced by it?" But what was incredible is when I'm playing it, and then I listen to the actual part of guitar that he had played himself. It's almost the same. So, and he kind of writes with thinking about
So he's
what's
copying-
Adam's
he's
style.
copying you, is what you're saying.
No,
He's ripping you
he's
off.
writing a song that allows me to be me in it versus saying like
Okay.
this is what I want to hear. And I just the man's a genius. So it's
like
really cool. to
when a
work with.
friend of yours gives you a jacket, and it's like you're like, oh, he knows what I like. He's giving me. He knows I would totally wear this.
And I do the same thing for Alex's vocals, because little it be known, when I send the guys the demos, I sing on it. Like I'm just like I'm singing as Alex would sing. I'm not going like oh, like I'm just going like.
Is that Alex?
No,
Is that-
Alex
what
is
it?
not like that. No, no, Alex is really
Can you
like
do that
more.
version?
Hey, it's back. But so.
But you kind of like just. You kind of like. Ooh.
Yeah.
You kind of like
got
Jima
some
Jama
vibes, man.
Jima, like
I imitate him, like in the sense
Okay.
of like I do what he would have.
like a lead track kind
Yeah,
of thing.
that's it. Like
just
a
to
ghost
get-
track, like just like
Uh-huh.
so he knows like the melody and all that stuff. So then when I would come to the jam, he's like he learns it and he's doing it as I did it. And he
Okay.
sometimes he changes a word or two, but
So you're clearly like tapping into the actual knowing each other, and
Yeah.
that's actually helping, right? You know what the other guy likes, or what did the other guys kind of might. Okay, how did the drums come in?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit newer to the dynamic with these guys, and the interesting thing with this band is everybody has kind of a unique dynamic. Me and Alex know each other outside of this environment. They know each other, and everybody knows each other. And as musicians, we're starting to learn to come together, different
Right now.
influences and stuff.
Over me.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
gonna hear a bit of it later, right? You guys are
Yeah,
gonna play
absolutely.
for us. Awesome. Okay, go
You know,
ahead.
have to
in-
call an audible and play What Sound Size, maybe.
But I.
Wow, well done, Toronto.
Yeah,
Nice.
so
I'm just gonna
you know,
nod.
but the one thing that's been
Why
great
is
about this
everyone
band
yelling?
is, obviously for the songwriting of the newer stuff, I'm just going to talk over you clowns. Is the anchors are obviously Matthew and Alex, but we're able to use technology to our advantage. We record almost all of our jams. We're not like other bands where we can meet 3 times a week. We meet every 2 weeks on a Monday, and this is a rare Monday. As you can
Yeah,
see
this is
with
like my
bag
Dungeons and
and
Dragons group.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happens.
But we're also, able to come together very quickly. And we played a show in November, was very tight for the amount of time that we played together. And everybody always, they commented saying how good you guys were and how much do you practice? And at least I got those questions. And it was because of the technology. We record everything. Matthew's amazing. He goes home into the home studio and whatever he does in there, God only knows, but gold comes out.
Pro Tools.
And we're more
Well, I'm a Mac guy, so Logic.
A Logic.
Yeah, sorry.
He
For-
pisses
for us-
excellence.
That's
It's all plugins now. Okay.
exactly.
I'm
As soon
here
as he
to break
figures out
up
a
this
cowbell,
band,
we're
guys. I told
screwed.
you. I'm here to break. By
It's
the
going to
end
be
of this podcast,
an A meeting.
That's right.
8-year break. We'll take 8-year breaks.
Don't worry.
here comes the next 8 guys. All right.
Chapter
Yeah,
3.
so it's,
So because of technology, you're able to sort of work with the efficiency, a greater efficiency, even though you meet less.
Exactly. So, these guys
See, I
work
was
on
listening.
something, talk about it, and, Matthew
Bravo.
lays down a basic track, at least for me, for the drums. It's more of a simple thing and gets a general idea of it. And then I can work on it and then come up with my own spin on it. And then at least when I show up here, we're already informed on what we're doing. We're like, hey, we're going to play Copyright. We're going to play Watching Your Life or a few of the different songs that we've been working on. And I'm already there. It's not like, okay, what are the words? What's this mean? What's the feel of this song?
Right.
It's already there. So we're able to build on
It's
that.
very
right away.
collaborative. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very
great.
unusual. Okay. All right. That's pretty cool. What are we doing, Richard? Are we gonna get these guys to play a little bit? What do you think?
Yeah, you want to give us a little bit of background on some of these songs? You want to set it up?
Sure.
I guess I'm.
What is 76 about?
Well, it was not.
We were not going to play it. Yeah, that's not on the tonight's set list. Unfortunately, we want to keep a couple of surprises for the February shows, and that's one of them.
What are you playing for us
I'm talking
tonight?
too close again.
That's okay. I got you.
I
You
think-
should sing in a band. I'm just saying.
Trust
You're
me,
working
no.
that mic. You have a lot of range.
You may not want that.
I think.
I feel you could play the bass, and I'm crazy here, but you should play guitar.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, take me out of here, call an ambulance, but you should play the drums. Yeah, what are you guys gonna do for us tonight?
Okay, well, I think we're gonna play 4.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it goes.
And then all 4 songs, we chose one song.
Yeah, we each chose
'cause
one,
he-
basically.
He got a poll going on our Facebook secret page. It was like, okay, choose a song, guys.
Mhm.
Awesome.
And then we all chose a song.
Yeah, so I can record me messing up the lyrics at one point. I'm gonna mess
this
up
is
for
great.
sure.
I mean, this is our podcast, so we're going to sing over whatever you guys play
No problem.
afterwards.
Might be a good idea.
Kumbaya.
Might rap over it.
benefit the song.
Richard
Yeah.
loves to freestyle rap, and I can't stop him once he gets
It's
started.
true.
But
Nobody knows this, but it's true.
we'll make the songs better. We call this.
Yeah, the first one we're playing I Don't Care first. I Don't Care is actually written in the iPhone style, so it's a small I, a big D. I Don't Care is a song that Ab and I wrote when we first met. It's about technology and how we hate it.
I was hoping it would criticize technology.
That's what it was.
Except for we use technology to record
Right.
everything.
I think I'll give a little bit of a hi to somebody. Our original drummer, Jason Bradley, who
J. Brad.
Jay Brad,
Wait a second.
a friend of ours.
Did
who-
you want to say something?
Go ahead.
You're holding the mic. What's up?
I don't know what to say.
But it seems like you wanted to say something.
Got something to say?
Do you like the Tragically Hip?
I don't know what that means.
What's a hip?
Excellent. That's perfect. I don't know what that means. That's an
What's your
amazing
favorite
question.
like artist?
I don't know.
Music.
I don't know.
Is it Hootie and the
I don't
Blowfish?
know.
Spin Doctors.
What's a blowfish?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift?
Love
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
I like her
She has
too.
a song called 22.
Okay.
I love Taylor Swift. Again,
Times
I'm
3
not the
at
normal one.
276.
I'm heavily influenced by Taylor Swift. I didn't want to say it.
Brilliant.
Times 2.5. That's
You're a
76.
genius. I'm sorry we cut you off. You
No,
were
no
saying
problem.
about
So
your,
we're I Don't Care first. I Don't Care.
yeah.
Jason Bradley was our original drummer
Uh-huh.
who couldn't come back. It's not that, great guy, but he helped us make these songs what they still are today. Carney's brought in a lot of consistency for us, but Jay Brad should get a bit of a shout out. So we wrote I Don't Care, him and I together. That's the first one we played. Then we're going to play Russian Roulette. Russian Roulette is a song about one of my buddies and gambling and stupid shit like that, and it's become one of the songs that when we play live, every single person at the end says, "What is that second song?" Because we always played second.
There's a lot of gamblers out there too.
Yeah. But what they do, the dynamic duo there, you're gonna see what they do during that song. It's pretty wicked. And then third, we're gonna play our new song that we premiered in November. It's a song called Jody. It's a really crazy idea. We wrote a song and we named it after a girl. It's like a whole new thing.
Wow.
Nobody's ever happened. Nobody's ever done that before.
Trailblazing.
I like it.
Everywhere you go, everywhere you look,
Yeah.
you know, there's a face.
It's a bit of a story. I think anyway, it's about a girl
Talking
that's
about girls, it's weird.
fictitious
Why
that
would you
we've
do
never
that?
met. It's about a girl we never met, but we actually
Okay.
Wait, it's called Jody with an I or with an
I-E.
Y?
I.e.
With an I.
Jody.
Oh, with the French flavor.
Yes.
Oh, we never. Yeah.
Jody.
We'll play a little intro to this song. We'll play our intro to the song. Maybe you guys will figure out who it's about. And then last we're going to play 22 Seconds. 22 Seconds is a song that I wrote 20 years ago. That's one of the first songs I wrote. There's two songs that we played that I wrote when I was a teenager. One of them is P Should Be Away, and the other one is 22 Seconds. They're songs about me and how so stupid I can be sometimes, honestly. And I try not to make our songs too personal because I want to make it about the band and about fun stuff. I try to write really upbeat stuff.
Even 76?
Even 76. But 22 Seconds is one of our favorite ones to play. So who chose that one?
I did.
Yeah, Metro loves it. And so, yeah, we're going to play those four songs.
Well,
and
I had to choose it because I knew Carney would choose I Don't Care because it's
Yeah.
his favorite. And I'm growing fond of that one now.
One of the first things...
It wasn't until we went to Barfly.
Yeah.
And then we went to Barfly, and whatever happened, it was a song we kind of grinded through as a group. And, it's an older song for you guys, so it was a song that I was learning to sing, legacy song, if you will.
one to learn.
Yeah, it's got a few hooks in it. It's a bit tricky. And I guess it came together when we did our last show, and it was just great. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm in.
Hold on to your beers, gentlemen, because the wind is going to take them away from the musicianship of these lovely human beings. Watch it, girls. Be careful. You got your seatbelts on? Don't drink and drive. Here we go. Why you always put me down? And why you walk around with your frown? And why do you It's 'cause of this. It's 'cause of this. Here's the one thing we don't gamble, children.
At least not all day.
All right, this other one, this new one, this brand new spanking song is our original idea of writing a song about a girl and naming it after her. If Metzger wants to do a little bit of an intro as long as we don't get sued because we're stealing. This will be the little hint of what or who this song is about. We are all faithful little boys. But once in a while, in today's day and age of social media, they put the little selfies of themselves trying to spit at us. Especially about this little girl right here. We wrote a song about the middle one, the in-between one, on the 90s show. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. She's with the band. We walk down in San Fran. We talk the work that is on. We walk up in Montreal. Up and down, he said to me, right is wrong, physically in theory. Down his back, I said to her, down his back, oh my God, I got her. With me, and I do. Rudy, what? Get me up in the night. Rudy. Lovely, beautiful. And those legs that move. All those smiles all the time. And all the boys make me blind. Everywhere we go, we want you in. Everyone goes into the music. Everywhere I go, even on the way, everyone will be there, even on the weekend. Wicked thing, I do. Jody, what? The way you make me smile. Jody. How rude! Woo!
Any guesses on what that song is about?
Who's Jody? And we played this one song about peace and love. 22 seconds. Hello, mother and father. I can't believe I'm stuck to remember you made me the person I am, and now I feel so abandoned. I sit here with my thoughts, and I feel so distraught. This is it. It was the ultimate fear, and now my eyes filled with tears. So come back here, let me stay. Come back here, let me stay. Come back just one more day. The phone call from my sister. I had lost my only brother like a blow to the head. I wish it was me instead, but we don't get to fucking choose, and it always seems we lose. I swear, man, I was gonna say it to you, and now I don't know what to do. So come back here, let me stay. Come back here, let me stay. Come back just one more day. My best man, my drinking partner, we had a blast over and over. That cold night I saw you die, I felt you saw me cry. I always said I whined, but I had never taken the time, and now they took you from me. Is this the way it's got to be? So come back here, let me stay. Come back here, let me stay. Come back just one more. Oh, come back here, let me stay. Come back here, let me stay. Come back just one more day.
All right. Well, that was a little bit of wonderful.
And we're back.
Fire in a hole.
Fire in the hall.
You guys like that? Was that all right?
Yeah, it was
guys,
great.
you,
guys.
it's like we weren't even here. It was
weren't
wonderful.
It's like comedians going, "How's everyone feeling tonight?"
Yeah.
Woo!
How's everyone doing?
Make
great,
us laugh,
great to
Crown.
be here. Make us laugh. Make us laugh.
But we appreciate you guys having us.
Yeah.
We really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thank you for having us in your private space where
Yeah.
you do your thing, and you clearly enjoy each other, and that's great.
Absolutely.
It's almost disconcerting. I'm like, these guys are having way too much fun.
What are we
We all
doing
play
wrong,
naked all the
Jason?
time.
Yeah, what are we?
We're wearing clothes.
What happened to us,
Weird
Richard?
guy.
What happened to us, Jason?
We used to enjoy doing this.
How
why
come
why aren't we having as much fun?
How come the Fire in the Hole interviewers, ists?
You guys are the E's. We're the Ers.
Interviewer guys.
How come you're the only people with clothes on? That's maybe why you're not having fun. Like that's why we.
Oh,
true.
maybe.
That's
yeah,
true.
we're a little uptight like that.
Yeah.
I think.
They're
Fire in
not
the hole.
fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole.
Oh, fire in the hole.
I think somebody at home should count how many fire in the hole.
That's it.
The irony is, it could become a drinking game.
It really could.
It could become a drinking game, and then I'm really trying to not have. These Sapporo cans are super dangerous because it doesn't feel like you're having that much,
No, because they're small.
and pretty soon you've had too many,
And then you're speaking Japanese.
and you've seen it all.
It's an AA meeting.
But Jason, that's what the AA meeting is. So if anyone pulls you over right now, they would say, "Where have you been?" You're like, "AA meeting."
It's like a catch-all thing.
Yeah.
I like it. No matter what happens, the end result is fun. All right, well, guys, thank you for playing some of your songs for us. That's really cool.
Plug our stuff is busy cleaning beer.
I got it.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So, please remind us the dates again for the shows.
Absolutely. So the next couple ones are the ones that we're doing for Gord's Foundation. The first one, sorry, I have to do the microphone. February 2nd, Friday, February 2nd, McKibbin's Irish Pub. We'd be foolish not to mention that they have
Vaudreuil.
in Vaudreuil, the McKibbins in Vaudreuil.
Dorian.
They
I
have.
think you'll find it's Dorian.
Dorian.
Yes.
No.
What's going on? They've offered us a keg party. So basically, they're going to be drawing a keg party that night. So anybody who comes out and donates money to the foundation, it's 20 tickets for $20. And the keg party is worth $800. It's a full keg. It's 88 pints. You get to go any night you want this year. And you have to party with your friends. So you don't. It's not that night. It's anytime this summer or for your birthday if you want to go there.
So you don't have to drink the keg before you leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So
that's
it's
great.
a really cool. It's a cool thing.
Leave your car keys at home.
Be safe out there,
Yeah,
kids.
the owner is Nick. He's been super supportive of this since the first time we spoke to him about it, and we'd be foolish not to mention it. And yeah, so we're gonna play that night. Our friends Dr. Mindtrap, and it's gonna be hits by Tragically Hip all night. So that's lining
Sweet.
up for a really good one. And then Tuesday,
There's
sorry.
no cover, right? You don't have to pay to get into the show. It's
gonna
just
be-
donation.
It's donations
as
only.
much as you want, whenever
If you
want.
think we're good and we were worth it a lot of money, you can just go ahead and donate that. And then,
But even if we're not good on that night,
yeah, you
it's
should
not
still
for us.
donate. Yeah.
It's for Downey Windjack. So
Exactly.
Fund.
Fun.
So let's have fun, people.
Let's have
and
fun.
let's have fun.
And
Let's
then
get funded.
4 nights later, February 6th, Tuesday, February 6th, is a place down the street here. It's on St. Catharines. I'll call L'Escalier. Our friend Philippe Routier is opening for us. It's a big night for us. Gord's birthday. It's also one of the anniversaries that are close to our heart. We're really looking forward to that one. And then for the people listening, if you're in Gaspé or if you're in Nova Scotia,
Hey, you missed one.
or Quebec City, we're going to do. I'll mention that one at the end. We're going to places that we've never played before. Baie Saint Paul. We're going to a little place in Carleton in the Gaspé Coast. We're going to Nova Scotia, a place called Bridgewater. Fergenstein's. Devin's invited us. We can't wait to play that place.
Shout out, Devin.
And
Shout out
yeah,
to Devin.
and a little thank you to Too Many Unknowns who saw our idea, a band in Montreal, and they're playing a place called Pioneers, which is the old Clydes and Point Claire, and they invite us to open for them.
It's my old stomping grounds.
Yeah, man, we're opening for them on February 10th. So in that week, we're gonna be playing 3 shows, and we're gonna come out and that's I think our thing is we want to make sure people are gonna have fun. We guarantee it. The 4 of us love doing this, but the thing we love the most is making people happy. And we did that in November. We did it so proud, and we're going to do this even more in February. So, and we appreciate you guys having us again. So thank you very much.
Great podcast.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Thanks so much for being on.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys are going to be pretty busy.
We're busy. We're going to be, and then we have to record our songs once and for all. We've never done it properly.
I was going to ask this. When's the album coming out?
Well, we have a plan for it,
Yeah.
but it's not yet established.
No.
So, but you're looking at some singles coming out, like at least 2.
It's kind of the thing now.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, yeah, singles.
It's kinda
We have
everything.
another plan for like an album coming out too. So just if you can hit us up on Facebook, it's AA Meeting Band, Facebook. You just tap AA Meeting Band and you're gonna find us directly. And we're also on Instagram if you want to see our pictorial shenanigans. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I forgot to mention one thing about February 2nd.
He's not sorry.
Yeah, he's not.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that. I'm being polite. I'm the lead singer.
You got spiky hair.
No, I forgot to mention something. Carney just whispered in my ear. I have to mention this. We're doing a really cool thing. We're doing a silent auction February 2nd. So we're going to go play in somebody's backyard this summer. We're going to go do this. We'll play 2 hours. And
they don't even know that you're coming. It's great.
Yeah, no. Whoever wants to give us, and again, the money will go to
it's radical.
It's like,
the money will go to the
your
foundation. Shh. We'll play acoustic. We'll play plugged in. Whatever people can set up, we're going to do that. That's something that the 4 of us, that'll be our donation. And so whoever's going to give us the most money on February 2nd, we'll be going to somebody's house this summer and having a cool party with them and their friends. So that's
really
something that we want to do. And so thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Thanks.
a great idea.
Cadence, any parting thoughts?
Miko
I'm
the cat.
fixing my hair.
Okay. No, that's valid. That's a valid thing.
Anything you want to say?
The whole world is listening. I mean, literally the entire
Are you
world.
gonna play in our backyard?
Depends how much money you donate.
How much money you got?
That's right.
Donate $1,000.
Oh, nice. I like it. I like how much money you got, Dad. Give me $1,000. He just lost a year of his life. He just like a chill went up his spine. Thank you very much, Cadence. That's awesome.
One day you said you're gonna be bold, so I could be like shine bright like a diamond.
This is the true. We have not been focusing on the true star of the evening. Excellent. We're gonna have to do a separate podcast with your daughter, sir. You're gonna have to bring them.
No problem. Yeah.
And
I have others if you don't like this.
We
one.
will unleash them. The time for them to shine is now. Richard?
Agreed.
We want 10%. Any parting thoughts, gentlemen?
Last thing I'll say is I've been lucky enough by chance to run into these guys and start playing music together. And one thing out of being in many different bands, a lot of different genres of music, we've come together. We have a common purpose and a goal in mind, which was really our February shows that's coming up. But what's come out of that is the fact that we really work together. And I've never worked in a band where you've been able to be so open and collaborative and comfortable talking about stuff. We work on drum parts, guitar parts, singing parts. We all sang together at one point, trying to figure out one of our songs. We're really tight as a group, and I've never been with somebody that's some group that's been so great. So that comes out on stage, and I look forward to showing that to everybody else. So thanks to the guys I'm with.
That's beautiful. It's amazing the love that can happen in a room. After about a dozen cans of Sapporo.
I would have said that sober.
I know you would.
I actually paid him to say that.
Carney, I just want to say konnichiwa.
I just I get nervous when there's real love in the room, so I have to make fun of it because I'm insecure. But that's
because
beautiful,
I'm
guys.
dead inside.
Because I'm dead inside.
I think
that was a beautiful moment.
I'll let Adam close it up. I'll just say I'll hope to see you guys one of our shows, man. You guys come out,
definitely
man.
coming to the show.
You can count on it.
Thank you very much.
Firing the whole live.
We definitely want to see one of your shows, and no, it's really you guys are great. I really like you guys. You
My last thoughts would be the last thoughts I heard basically Gord say. So look north, do something, and please take care of each other.
That's a nice thought. Richard, would you have any last thoughts, or as I like to call them, first thoughts? You haven't said anything the whole show.
When did Richard show up? You just get here, buddy?
Yeah, he just showed up.
Wow.
Oh wait, was there a show today?
Yes, there was a show today.
I don't have any thoughts.
These guys are pretty cool, right?
I think it's a great band. I think it's a great cause, and people should come and check it out and support.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see us there.
Yeah, was it Look North and Take Care of Each Other? Yeah. All right. Well, I'd like to thank you for having us here, guys. And fire in the hole.
Fire in the hole!
Fire in the hole.
Peace out.